This is Titletown Sound.
If Joe Flacco is worth a fourth-round pick, Antonio Brown might be worth a negative fifth-round pick.
Again, I'm just a fat dude sitting on the couch. But I watch a lot of football.
I'm here to kick ass and make steaks, and I'm all out of steaks.
Year one, he was like, all right, guys, I don't know what Dom taught you, but you need to have 11 guys on the field.
A trained orangutan could have done a better job than Ron Zerks. And not even well-trained.
Welcome, Packers fans, to the Titletown Sound podcast. This is the podcast for Packers fans and fans of Boston cream pie. That's right, James. Today is National Boston Cream Pie. Let me introduce my co-host, a man who loves cream pies. It's James Corsmo. James, how you doing?
You could say that cream pies are my favorite category.
Beauty
of pie.
And now, my other co-host, it's Kevin Christopko, a man who will pass up a cream pie for a good Pittsburgh platter. Kevin, how you doing?
Hey, who says you can't have both, right? Straight from the horse's mouth. Go, Pack, go.
Gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about this week, especially the 6-1 Green Bay Packers. We also have, hopefully, a functioning live stream of our video, and hopefully James is able to stay with us for the whole program this week. But before we get to all of that, we have to do what we are contractually obligated to do because of our name, and that is to play the sound off. Now, this requires me to figure out technology, so could be dangerous.
It's time to sound off.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers is back. Now, he was never gone, but the last several years he's been plagued by injury, by problems, by teams that weren't supporting him very well. And while 1 week does not a career or a second half of a career make, the way Aaron Rodgers played this week, I think it's safe to say that not only is he back, but that this team is on the upward trajectory, despite their success to this point. The one thing that I noticed with Aaron Rodgers is not just that he's playing well, but that, one, he's taking risks. He's throwing passes to receivers that you might not expect to even be catching balls in the NFL. And he's throwing difficult passes to them. He's trusting Allen Lazard. You know, most NFL fans don't even know who he is. But second of all, Aaron Rodgers is smiling when he plays. He seems to be happy. He seems to be enjoying himself. And that goes a long way. When Rodgers is happy, when Rodgers is smiling, Rodgers is playing well. But this whole team has a vibe and an attitude that makes them exciting and fun to watch. You feel like they've got each other's backs, that the defense will pick up when the offense doesn't play well, and vice versa. We can only get special teams to play along. But with an exciting team, with a happy Aaron Rodgers, and a 6-1 start to the season, beating every team in the division, this Packers team looks promising. Let's hope they keep up the excitement. Gentlemen, 6-1 Packers team, 3-0 in the division, sitting pretty if only some other teams would cooperate. For instance, would have liked to have seen the Vikings lose this week. But James, even with my ridiculous predictions at the beginning of the seasons, did you ever think the Packers would be sitting beginning week 8 at 6-1?
No, I really didn't. I figured week 8 we would be, 4-2 maybe. 4-3, whatever the math is. They're in a really good spot. They're in a really, really good spot. Sitting this high in the NFL, I mean, they've got like the second or third best record in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then you add on top of that the tiebreakers they have with all the divisional opponents. It's as long as they can sustain and stack those successes, Mike McCarthy. They will. They're looking really good. Like they're set up really well.
So let's talk about the past game that was Packers against the Raiders. We didn't think the Raiders were going to be the most difficult opponent, especially with a home game. But Kevin, did you expect without Davante Adams on the field Did you expect to see Aaron Rodgers perform the way he did?
I don't think I expected to see it perform as well as he did. I expected him to have a good game. I think one of the things that has stood out to me about this offense, and just let me know if I'm going off too far off the rundown for the show, because I don't really read that. One thing that I noticed about the offense is that every week, regardless of what is not working, they're able to find something that is working, and they're able to ride that. And without Davante Adams, they're still able to complete to 8 different receivers, which isn't, I'm sure he's had games where he's completed to 11 or 12, but,
Right.
It's not bad. And for 6 touchdowns total, you can't really complain. It was nice to see the offense kind of getting into gear and like having some fluidity to it and kind of just, I don't know, chugging and working.
The one thing that I said in the middle of the game, James, is that this was the first week for Aaron Rodgers' MVP campaign. Am I overreacting to his performance?
Not in the slightest. I honestly, I think it's the second week for his MVP campaign. I think he played really well against Detroit. But no, that was Aaron. We're so used to seeing Aaron Rodgers do these things throughout the years that we've, I think, become numb to it. And then the last couple of years has been kind of the struggle. And then to see him just bust out like he did, it was refreshing. It was 2011 all over again.
I mean, he had the same number of incompletions as he did touchdowns on the day. That's not something you see every week. But here's the most incredible thing, because I didn't realize it until I started looking at the statistics after the game, or actually right before the broadcast. Jimmy Graham, the leading receiver, with 4 targets and 4 receptions. Now, not the leading yardage, but James, even Aaron Rodgers, even in this comeback game, even makes Jimmy Graham look good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Jimmy Graham played pretty well. That the touchdown catch he had wasn't an easy catch to make. It was a low throw, and then the big gainer that he got. He actually, did you guys see him make 2 dudes miss?
Yes, I did. I couldn't believe it. Not 1, but 2, and it seemed like, I could be wrong, but it seemed like it was actually on purpose.
Well, my guess was that the other 2 guys were like looking for groceries or something. I don't know.
But it was pretty
contact.
And it looks like he may have a little something left in the tank. If only, I mean, look, my biggest problem with Jimmy Graham last week was when it's a contested catch, Jimmy, you need both hands. Like, you really need to put the effort in to try to catch the ball. But this week he played well. Rodgers did a great job of getting the ball distributed, like you mentioned, Kevin. So if we look at no receiver had more. I mean, believe it or not, even with Rodgers completing 25 passes, no receiver had more than 4 receptions. That's pretty. That in and of itself is pretty incredible when you think about it. Graham, Allison, Jones, and Jamal Williams all had 4 receptions each. Lazard had 3. Valdez-Scantling had 2. Kumaro had 2. And gentlemen, most importantly, the Packers got the fullback involved. James, Danny Vitale with 2 catches. This is important.
Danny Vitale, he's fast.
He is.
Like, I remember, and I loved Ripkowski. I mean, we all loved Ripkowski, but like he was your very stereotypical fullback, kind of, a thud thumper kind of guy. Vitale is a running back in a fullback's body. Like, he's fast.
A sexy fullback's body.
I mean,
dude, he's like unbelievably jacked. It's insane. Hang on a minute.
He follows my workout
and we're
plan.
done.
Yeah. It took longer than I thought, actually. Rodgers, his performance, I think, should have shut up a lot of people. It won't. And at the same time, you watch somebody like Tom Brady, who's apparently the greatest of all time, and watch how every one of his completions is about 4 yards downfield if he's feeling saucy. The man doesn't take any risks anymore. And look, I don't blame him. That he shouldn't if he doesn't have to. But Rodgers was making throws, was turning a wide receiver crew that is just it's nothing to write home about into one of the greatest performances he's had in his career. And not to say this was a dramatic win, but statistically, James, this was a really impressive performance.
Right, and as you said, the fact that he did it with MVS, who's hurt, Geronimo Allison, who's hurt, Jake touched Whitewater Jesus Kumaro, Alan Lazar, a list of people who, in chances are, guys, face it, in 5 years we'll be going, who the hell are these people? I don't remember them.
And I'll be wondering why I got an Alan Lazard jersey when I was at the game against the Panthers.
So, I mean, the fact that he was able to drag them along to a 425-yard, 5-touchdown through the air, I mean, it's insane.
So we tried to play the audio. We wanted to isolate it for the show, but it was a little bit too distorted. Kevin, you saw it. I'm sure, James, I know you saw it. The audio of Aaron Rodgers and I want to call him Guy LaFleur every time, and Matt LaFleur on the sidelines talking. And Rodgers says to LaFleur, I want to get 5. And what does LaFleur say, James?
I want 6.
Which I like. First of all, I like a coach who challenges a player. It's very important, right? And they get 6 friggin' touchdowns. You know, the audio I should have pulled, James, I'm a little bit upset I didn't, was from the post game when Rodgers got the game ball. And he gives Rodgers the game ball and then and reminds the players that not only did Aaron Rodgers have 5 passing touchdowns, but in his words, the old man ran one in too. Kevin, should every critic everywhere who questioned the relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur shut up at this point?
I mean, they can keep talking if they don't want to have any credibility. I don't think it at 6-1. That's 6-1, right? Yeah,
correct.
I don't think that you can at 6-1 say anything other than that with the way that the offense has been performing. This last week, and I don't know how you could back that up otherwise. Because even if it's true, who cares? Like it's not manifesting on the field. So
right. Well, but everything we've seen, James, everything that we've seen from video and from audio from these last couple of games, they seem, not only are they getting along, but it feels like their relationship is progressing to the point where we might have questioned it at the beginning. And not that we questioned, we're homers, so we were on board. But if you questioned whether or not it was a good idea to bring a guy in who had never been a head coach before, who was this young, to deal with somebody who's, look, Aaron Rodgers is not an easy player to deal with because of his talent. Is there any doubt in your mind now that they made the right choice?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I was thinking after the game, where would the Packers be right now with Mike McCarthy? And
massages.
Getting massages, eating pierogies, all those things. But I honestly think they would be 2. They'd have 2 wins, maybe 3 max. I think LaFleur has coached this team into more wins than they might even be like capable of. I don't want to say that sounds harsh, but like
no. But I get what you're saying. Better than their talent, at least at the first few games.
Right. I mean, he coached them into a win against the Bears where they only scored 10 points, and Pettin really did a lot of the work there. But and
to be fair, Mitch Trubisky, yes.
Well, Mitch did too. Yeah. But I mean, LaFleur has been, I think, the perfect coach, not only for Aaron Rodgers, but for the whole everybody. He believes in his guys, and he gives them the power to go out there and do what they need to do to win. And then he gives them the credit.
Yeah.
I've watched so many interviews with him in the last week or so where everybody is like, the game plan you come up with, it's amazing. And the first thing he says is the game plan is nothing without execution. And the guys in the field are the ones doing that, and they deserve the credit. Like the humility of a coach to come out and, and to put that back on the players, it's perfect. And they couldn't have asked for a better start.
So not only that you've got the whole team buying in, they're having fun, and I said that in the sound off, but it's really important. Like, I think it's one of those things where everybody's always comparing the NFL to like their job. Like, well, I don't get paid $4.2 million. No crap. You know, you whatever. You type in crap on a computer. You know, these guys are the most talented people in the world. But
Hey.
What if you're a really good typer?
Well, I mean, you might, yeah. Maybe you get like 2.8. But I guess my point is these guys are the best at what they do, but it is a workplace. Like, you have to buy in. And if you buy in, and these guys seem like they all got their backs. Like, I don't know. It's just a vibe you get from this team that's more fun, that's more cohesive, that you just didn't get before. That one part of the team will pick up the other. If the defense, and we've seen this, when the defense isn't performing, the offense steps up. When the offense isn't performing, the defense steps up. And that's what we've been missing in the last 4 to 5 years. Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely true. Now, in the last couple days, I've heard Aaron Rodgers even say that LaFleur, the team is so much different than it was in the past because the guys are allowed to be themselves. And they're allowed to, you know, the sack celebrations and just
that's something we're talking about. So at one point last week, there was an announcement that sack celebrations were going to be basically banned, and the reason made sense because it takes time off the clock. It makes it more difficult to get special teams out there. So you know what happened, right? Did you guys hear this story? Mm-hmm. The Smith brothers actually went to LaFleur, asked him to allow them to have the sack celebration, and then demonstrated their next sack celebration for him. I just imagine, like, in my mind, it's like the Smith brothers are playing the parts in Step Brothers. Like, instead of John C. Reilly and Willie, like, they're bunking their beds, they're doing their sack dance for LaFleur, and, like, it was like, all right, guys, all right, fine, sack celebrations are back on. But this is the kind of fun, Kevin, that this team is having.
Yeah, and I think when you're a good team and you know that you're a good team, you're allowed to have, not you're allowed, but you have that fun, right? Like, it's a little bit easier to have that fun. So, I think I think the fun that they have is kind of, that shows the confidence that they have in each other. Not only like the defense in the defense, but the defense with the offense and vice versa.
No, that's a good point. That it's more of a team than just 3 separate units. Okay, so we all said the Packers needed a veteran wide receiver, or they need to think about if Davante Adams was going to be out for a considerable amount of time. That seems like it might be off the table, but this team is performing well without Davante Adams. James, how are they pulling it together without a dominant receiver?
They're spreading the ball around. Everybody's getting a piece of it. Their running backs are playing as much wide receiver almost as they are running backs. The 2 weeks in a row we've seen Aaron Jones run routes out of the backfield that have ended up with him being wide open or mostly open and last week there should have been a touchdown, but he alligator armed it, and then this week he caught the touchdown on a difficult throw.
That was tough. Yeah.
I mean, it was a difficult catch. He made the adjustment, and it was beautiful. So, I mean, the running backs, the fullback, Vitale getting involved. Alan Lazard coming up huge. He dropped the one pass, I believe it was in the first half this week. He dropped a pass, and then he came out and made a ridiculously difficult one in the second half. Those types of things, the next man up stuff, which I normally hate because it's just such a cliche. But everybody is stepping up. Jimmy Graham finally remembered that he plays professional football and came out and caught some passes. Mercedes Lewis getting involved. It's a whole cast of people coming together and making it work. And the offensive line. I mean, Aaron Rodgers could have eaten lunch in the time he had in the backfield this week. It was, everything was just clicking. And that's what they need. They need to fire on all cylinders and not have any mistakes and not beat themselves.
Yeah, you had Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams both with a touchdown catch. Not a rushing touchdown, but a touchdown catch. It's remarkable to see how this offense has evolved even from week to week, and I think that's what's really important. A Mike McCarthy offense, and I don't want to step on the guy while he's down, but a Mike McCarthy offense, what you saw in week 1 was what you saw in week 6, was what you saw in week 10, was what you saw in week 17. It simply wasn't going to change. They might add a play, but you weren't going to see, like, for instance, at the beginning of the year, Danny Vitale was not involved in this offense much, and now he's getting more of it. You wouldn't see that evolution. And I think, Kevin, that's the one thing that LaFleur brings to this team that we've been begging for. We just want to see an offense that develops.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said earlier, I think it develops as they get more comfortable with one another. It'll develop more, but it also is going to develop on a game-by-game basis, and it's looking at it as a smaller picture versus the big picture. Like, it's going to develop as we get towards the end of the season, but also
Right.
in the course of a game, and that's important too, because it's really necessary for. It's kind of, I'm not comparing the two, but it's very Bill Belichickian, where every single game you go into it expecting one thing, and they come at you with something that you weren't expecting, because that's how good of a coach Bill Belichick is.
Yeah.
And I like to see that's kind of the way that the Packers have looked these first 6 games, with the one exception where they weren't terrific, but. The other games they've looked really, really good, and they've only gotten better.
So now with the way they're performing without Davante Adams, and with Sanders off the board, he was just traded, I think, today. James, do you think the Packers make any moves at wide receiver?
I don't. I don't. I think that they are satisfied with what they're getting from Lazard and MVS and Allison and Adams should be coming back in the next couple weeks, I would think.
All right.
So
All right. So this is where I'm going to turn into Madden guy. Okay, I'm going to turn into Madden GM guy. The Patriots basically have told people that Josh Gordon's available. They're going to give him an injury settlement apparently, and he'll be on the market. Kevin, is trying to pick up Josh Gordon a great idea or an amazing idea?
I mean, picking up a wide receiver mid-season is always questionable. You just never know what you're going to get. I feel like so many times guys, they add wide receivers and then like people are excited and they just don't do anything. I don't know. I think they're fine.
James, this is the worst idea I've ever had.
I was with you when you bought a Brett Hundley jersey. I don't know if you remember that, but I do.
I wish I did. I was drinking heavily, but I still remember it.
No, it's not the worst idea you've ever had, but
Here's my only problem with it. Who you get rid of? You got to clear roster space for that, and I don't want to do that because I like this roster almost from top to bottom. There's no one I hate yet. Usually there's someone, like usually there's a Brad Jones or someone that I can't stand, but this team doesn't have that guy yet.
I mean, if they were to go out and get another wide receiver, I think that'd be it for Darius Shepard, to be honest. But
you know what? You know what? I'd be okay with that.
But you'd think that they'd have to get a wide receiver who also is going to play special teams. That's the thing about adding a Josh Gordon. If you lose a special teams player there, you can't really do that.
Yeah.
I don't think they mind throwing Methuselah Tremont Williams back there to field punts.
Well, the nice thing is he does get the AARP discount, so he gets an extra couple of yards added on the end of every run. It's a little known NFL rule. All right, so maybe that is a bad idea, but I still like to play fantasy football. And all right, anything to be concerned about with this defense, James? The defense, the bend but don't break. It almost broke a couple of times, and it could have gotten ugly. They gave up. I don't want to say they gave up all those points. Like the last touchdown, it's a garbage touchdown, so I'm not even counting it. But is there anything to be concerned about with the amount of yardage that this defense is giving up?
It's something to keep an eye on for sure. I don't know. They seem to have a real knack, or at least they have this year, to give up a bunch of yards. But then other than the Eagles game, when it comes down to it, they go out and they make plays. It's kind of it's not what we're used to seeing, not what I'm used to seeing. Like if Dom Capers was still our defensive coordinator, we would have lost that game 162-17.
Right.
But I mean, it's very much predicated on getting pressure on the quarterback. I don't think they honestly scheme that much against the run. I think it's one of those things that we'll let you run on us. We're not going to let you beat us through the air. And thank God Derek Carr fumbled that football because that really helped out a lot in terms of I think it's a 14-point swing.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean he was able to. There were tight ends just wandering down the field, lost like my grandpa at the buffet.
Lost like Jimmy Graham. Tight ends were lost.
I mean, they were just sitting there wide open all game long, and I don't know if that's because Darnell Savage hasn't been playing. I don't know if that's maybe if you'd have been in, if that would have made a big difference. I bet it would have, but
they certainly miss him.
Yeah, I mean, we can't, that has to get taken care of because not all quarterbacks are going to be Derek Carr. It's a tough road to hoe in the NFL if you're letting wide receiver, tight ends, anybody really just meander across the field with nobody within 5 yards.
That was a hobby of Dom Capers.
Dom Capers would take guys off the field just for that purpose.
Just to open up the middle of the field.
Get a few yards if we play with 9.
So I think what I like about the defense, I saw somebody complain like this defense gives up too many yards and they rely on turnovers. And if it weren't for those turnovers, but the reason that this defense is successful is because it pressures the quarterback and creates turnovers. That's what it's designed to do. Now, you want to see them better against the run. And really, I think the biggest problem I have with this defense this year so far is the explosive plays. They've given up far too many of them. You're okay with that?
You don't force turnovers if you don't go for the ball, and sometimes you get burned.
Well, but these aren't even just getting burned going for the ball. These are getting burned like
no, I mean not all of them, but
coverage.
like I'm just saying generally speaking. Some of them guys fell down. So what category does that go into?
I'd
some
rather
of them
them
guys
not.
did get burned, but some of them, you just get unlucky.
Yeah, I agreed, but they've gotten unlucky on a bunch of big plays this year. If I could see them cut down some of those explosive plays, I don't care how many yards they give. They could give up 99 yards on every drive if they get a fumble or an interception on the one. I just don't care. But I need to see I need to see a little bit more consistency, especially with stopping the runs. Go ahead.
But you say that, and they have done a really good job of forcing turnovers in the red zone and near the red zone. So
they're great in the red zone.
Yes, you can clean it up, but that would, they've still done a pretty good job of that.
Sure.
I think that this defense is really built for the NFL, for the modern NFL, because you're trying to force turnovers. You expect the other team is going to either score a touchdown or get a turnover. It's kind of like how baseball is now: home run, strikeout, whatever. Like it's fewer and fewer options, and that's kind of how it is on offense now. Field goal doesn't mean nearly as much as it used to.
Yeah.
And if your defense can turn the ball over in the red zone like the Packers have been able to do, you could give up 500 yards a game and still win by 15, 20 points.
Yes. No, agreed. And I think you're going to see a lot of statistics like that. You're going to see some shifts in the way people view the game because they've got a defense. I think that's a great point that is built perfectly for today's NFL. Create turnovers in the middle of the field or stop them in the red zone. If you give up a field goal, you give up a field goal. But I'm going to turn the ball over so many times that I don't care about those couple of field goals I give up. Or I'll give up 5 to the Lions and I'm still going to beat them.
Field goals are almost worthless in this day and age.
Yeah.
You're not, as Booger McFarland so eloquently put, as only Booger McFarland can.
Only a man named Booger could do.
You're not going to beat the Green Bay Packers with field goals. You're just not. Like you said, I am impressed with the resilience though, because Kevin King against Detroit just got destroyed on a couple plays. Came back, played an amazing game for the second half. This week, he locked down Keelan Doss, and when he was on Trevor Davis, I think he allowed 1 catch to Davis. And then Jair Alexander, you don't even ever hear about the guy because they don't even throw at him anymore.
Yeah.
That's just where they're at. It's the middle of the field that it always seems to be the problem. And that's where guys like, I don't know, Blake Martinez, who I still say is the most overrated player on the team. He annoys me a lot. But
you just don't like guys named Blake.
So Blake Martinez had 16 tackles this week. All but the 4 of them were beyond like 5.5 yards past the line of scrimmage.
But
What?
Blake Martinez also, though he won't get credit for a forced fumble, has a good point. Has a good bit of the credit for that fumble of Derek Carr out of the end zone.
He does, but maybe if we had a middle linebacker who could cover, they wouldn't have been at the 1 yard line.
All right, that's a valid point.
I mean,
I
like the guy. I think he has value. I think he's a quality player, but
he's
he
AJ Hawk.
cannot cover.
He's AJ Hawk.
He's AJ Hawk with a helmet that stays on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he has a weakness on. I mean, he can be a weakness in coverage, but in that, you're not going to have 100% full strength all the time on D. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a weak link somewhere.
I don't even think he's a weak link.
Coverage might not be his thing, but he can. He's not terrible at the line. So
I don't think he's a weak link so much as he is, like James says, overrated. That his skills are overblown, and he gets too much credit for what he does.
Well, in coverage, I feel like James would categorize him as a weak link on this team.
Oh yeah.
And people always talk about how many tackles he gets. Well, and that's great, but he's getting these tackles so far down the field. Like, you're not. It's just make them closer to the line of scrimmage, Blake. That's all I'm asking for.
Maybe somebody should coach him.
Well,
right.
I mean, he probably is not making him closer because he's not as good at coverage, so he wants to give himself a little cushion.
So Packers win 42-24 to go to 6-1. A place only one of us predicted preseason they would be. Only one of us believes in this team. So let's go on. Let's talk before we take our break. Let us talk about our patrons. And when you become a patron at www.patreon.com/TTSO and you give your donation, we will talk about you on the show. We have a new patron this week, guys. Our new patron is Shane Blanton. Shane, welcome to our little community here. Thanks very much for your patronage. And now I would like to provide you with a list of famous Shanes that you certainly are joining now. There's Shane Battier, Shane Mosley, Shane Victorino. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. Shane McMahon.
The Flying Hawaiian.
Of course. Shane McMahon. And now, let's see. Shane Warne. He's a cricketer and coach with Australia. I'm running out of Shanes.
Is it cricketer or is it cricketeer?
I think that's the Rocketeer. Shane Carruth, film composer, musician, and Ray's cousin. Shane. Shane Barbie, one of the famous Barbie twins, and Shane Rimmer, adult actor. No, just kidding. He is a screen actor and a voice actor. So welcome, Shane. We appreciate your patronage. And Kevin, we have some OG patrons we have to mention as well.
We do. I will mention them now. Of course, we have Scott Near Not Bayo. Then we have Jason Hicks Not Hillbilly. And of course, we have James Born a Hamblin Man. And
that's horrible.
What's that?
That was horrible. I mean, I loved it.
But these are all horrible. I mean, come on. It's me. Come on. You expect some sort of effort here? Come on. Milo Mead songs. I added an S there, so it was different. And Chris, not Christofko or James Korsmo. So if you're keeping score at home, that's actually just Chris Korsmo.
It is.
And if you're not scoring at home, try flowers. It's an old one.
I think you color in the one box and then you put a little X through the one, and that's how you would score that. That's it. Those are the five that I'm obligated.
Our OG patrons are our OGs because, quite frankly, because they pledge the most, and we really do super appreciate it. You guys keep the show going. You allow us to buy equipment and new technology that we don't know how to quite use well enough. But thanks very much for your support. If you want to become a patron, just go do it. We told you how already. So, if you can't figure it out, you're probably not going to do it anyway, right? All right, let's take a break. We're going to take a quick commercial. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Packers' upcoming game with the Kansas City Chiefs. And if they can go to 7-1, we've got our games. We've got Papa K, voicemails. All of that when we come back. We'll be back in 2-2. Did you know that you can help support our show financially without any additional cost to you? Well, if you use Amazon, and let's face it, who doesn't? You can go through our Amazon affiliate link, and we'll get a small portion of the proceeds. You pay nothing extra, and you still get your awesome stuff delivered in like 2 days. So go to www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon. You just order like you normally would, and you help the show. That's www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon. Happy shopping.
If you would like to support the show and help others find it, give us a review and a rating. Go to Apple Podcasts and write something nice and give us 5 stars. Thanks.
Welcome back. Packers fans, the Titletown Sound podcast. It is National Boston Cream Pie Day. I hope you guys are celebrating responsibly at home. I don't know how you'd celebrate that irresponsibly, but yeah. All right. Well, I'm trying to get everybody back on the audio stream, the video stream. I think I got it now. Kevin, you're still muted, so if you try to talk, we won't hear you. You forgot, I know. All right. Before we go on, we need to talk about our other Hall of Fame patrons, also very important to us. James, talk to us.
Yes. All right. So we have Jeff Augustine. I was born in August, so I like to think that.
Is that wait? Are you talking about the same Jeff Saint Augustine?
Yep. Jeff St. Augustine, who founded the oldest city in America. Paul Goldsack, who ironically earned a silver medal in debate. Kyle Turpening, who I don't believe went to Maryland, so Terp might not fit for him, but that's okay. Nick, who's still not John Glenn. He's not. He's working on it.
It's a long process.
So wait, that's a goal?
Cryogenically frozen in his basement.
All right.
DJ Lightfoot, who, his feet are an average weight. And Will Zin Savage, who is neither a Zin nor a Savage. Discuss.
I didn't know that. Kevin, did you know that? Neither a Zin nor a Savage.
Well, I don't know what a Zin is.
It's a wine.
Oh no, he does get better with age, though, guys.
Well, yes, he does. All of our patrons do.
All right, so let's move on and talk about the upcoming game against the Chiefs. And here's where I'll be honest. I never root for a guy to be injured. Never. I really don't want players to be injured. But if Patrick Mahomes has to be injured, I'm okay with him missing this week. But I did see he's practicing, or maybe there's all sorts of secret skullduggery about he's not playing this week, James.
I would think not. I don't know anymore. I really don't. The dude dislocated his kneecap in front of the entire world, had it placed back where it belongs,
right?
And walked off the field. If that were me, they would have needed to have hired a chariot and a group of 20 to 30 men to carry me off the field. Were
you playing in Pittsburgh?
Yeah. So I don't know anymore. I saw some video footage of him walking around the field today. He didn't look like he was all that comfortable, but they better, if they do play him, if he does play, they better pray to everything they believe in that nothing else happens to him, because those knee dislocations, those tend to pop back out.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance he's playing, and I don't really care if he is. I mean, he's so much fun to watch. I don't want him to get more injured. Patrick, maybe just for your own personal safety, just take a break. Just take the week.
Take a.
We're just trying to help.
Yeah. I don't know why. So how much difference is that going to make, James, if he is not playing this week?
It's going to make a lot of difference. Matt Moore is actually a pretty good backup quarterback. He's not terrible at all. After Mahomes got hurt last week, they still boat raced. Whoever was that, the Texans? I forget.
Yeah, well, whoever they were playing, but they were pretty awful.
Yeah, they still waxed them. So the game plan changes, I think. Mahomes is a pretty mobile quarterback, and he has the arm of Brett Favre in 1994. So in a jar. Moore doesn't have either. Yeah,
basement.
He doesn't. He has the Crocs of Brett Favre in 2011. But they're gonna have to change what they do in the coverage. They're gonna have to change what they do in the pass rush. It's gonna be a much more, I think, run predicated game for Kansas City if Mahomes doesn't go, which, as we all know, is not the Packers' strong suit. There's a lot of speed on that team. A lot of speed and a couple of giant D bags. So, it'll be interesting to see what they have to do.
Kevin, can Rodgers build on his experience last week, and as Mike McCarthy would tell us, can he stack successes?
Sure. Will he have 6 touchdowns? Probably not. But that doesn't necessarily mean that a 2 or 3 touchdown game with no turnovers and a win isn't a success, stackable success. I don't know what that really means. Good games back to back, right?
That's the funny thing. I don't think Mike McCarthy knew what it meant either.
It was actually one of the massage options. I'll give the stackable success.
Wow.
It's hot rocks, guys. They put the hot rocks on your back.
So to speak, hot rocks. James, what is it? What do you know about this Kansas City team? What do you know about this Chiefs team? Anything about the defense that you know?
They're not. The Chiefs defense hasn't been great this year. Their pass defense, especially. There's definitely points to be had by the Packers offense. They're not. The Chiefs. The Chiefs remind me a lot of the 2011 Packers.
Okay.
A lot. They score a ton of points. They get a lot of yards. They have these offensive statistics that just are mind-boggling, and then their defense it makes them have to have those numbers because they keep having to get points.
Right.
The Packers offense can go on there even without Davante Adams. If he doesn't play, they can go. I have no doubt they can go down to Kansas City and score some points.
Yeah, they are third in the league in points on offense, third in the league in yards at 400 yards per game, first in passing yards, and 25th in rushing yards. So, James, that leads me to believe this team actually, the Packers match up pretty well with them.
Yeah, I think they do. I do. I think this Rodgers has potential for another big game. The running backs have potential to get some decent work in. I think, honestly, I really think that regardless of who Kansas City's quarterback is, the key to this game is for Green Bay to win the time of possession, keep the ball longer than Kansas City has it, because this really could come down to, last team with the ball wins. And, I would like that to be us.
Kevin, I've got a question for you about, it's late October. We're going into the Halloween. We're in the Halloween season. We're in the Halloween season. Does Andy Reid dress up as the Kool-Aid Man every year?
Possibly he does. Or he could just wear an adult diaper and go as some sort of, I don't know, sumo wrestler. I don't know.
That was disturbing.
He's a large man. He's a very
So
big man.
That's true.
He probably just goes and takes advantage of restaurant offers.
I mean, you say that with two very large co-hosts with you. Like,
What do you guys do on Halloween?
I eat a lot of food.
I steal my kids' candy.
Yeah, beauty.
Oh, maybe he's doing that then.
All right, let's go to one of our new segments. It's a fan favorite. We've gotten a lot of your mail and support for this segment. It's David Bakhtiari's 69 of the week. David Bakhtiari is in no way affiliated with the 69 of the week.
69, dudes!
Nice.
69!
Nice.
This week, if you combined the number of rushing yards for the Green Bay Packers with the number of targets that the Packers running backs had, what do you get?
69.
69, dudes!
Nice.
69!
Nice.
That's your David Bakhtiari 69 of the week. Despite the cease and desist letters from David Bakhtiari, we're going to continue with that.
That's a high quality segment.
It is. It really is. A lot of work goes into that every week. We got some voicemails that we want to share with you, and our first is from a new caller. We always love to have a new caller. This is from Trent.
Gentlemen, this is Trent from Texas, and I am a avid Packers fan, and I've had a good couple weeks because the Cowboys suck in this year, and that's always good. Makes a better NFC for everyone. But I just wanted to ask you guys to see what y'all's thoughts were on Blake Martinez and his effort. I feel, and I watch a lot of film, that Blake Martinez just doesn't – he's there, but he's there 4 or 5 yards late. I just wanted to get you guys and see what you guys felt about that. And as always, go Pack, go.
James, is Trent your spirit animal?
Trent, I like the cut of your jib. I like the cut a lot. No, he's absolutely right. And you can't ever make the argument that Blake Martinez isn't giving 100% or he's not giving effort. Like he's got that energy. He's there.
He's effort.
Like Trent said, but like Trent said in a very brilliant way, echoing what I said. It's always 5 or 6 yards down the field, and it's always there's no pass coverage with him at all, and it's super frustrating.
I think he needs some help on the line to kind of give him a little bit space to get closer to the running back. I think last year he had a little bit more help on the D line in that regard, and so this year maybe.
All right. We got our Blake Martinez apologist. We get. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm not a Blake Martinez. I just don't. What do you? I don't understand what you guys expect from him. Like that's my like. No, he's not the greatest linebacker, but he's also like, I don't know. He's a guy who's there every week, and he's pretty reliable. So, what are you gonna do?
All right, let's go to our next voicemail from a regular caller, but on his birthday, or thereabouts, from hallowed ground.
Hey, all, it's Gabe here, coming from 334 at Lambeau Field, where it's halftime and it's 21-10. Pack. Let's see how it goes in the second half, y'all. Remember, go Pack, go, go Pack, go.
I'm a little disappointed in Gabe because I've never heard that intensity before. He's just.
I didn't know he had that in him.
Right? He was he was bringing it.
Couple of observations. One, I'm glad that he doesn't have that intensity because he's typically in his car. And two, he was hammered in that voicemail. So if he had that intensity from Southern California, I think we'd be in front.
Your audio is going a little bit sideways. All right, just say hi or something. I don't know.
Hey, what's up? I don't know. I haven't done anything to my audio, so you did it. You broke it.
Well, check which microphone you're connected to on Be Live. It might have switched you when I took you out of the feed. And while we're doing that, I'm going to take you to our next voicemail from OG patron Will Z Savage. I believe this call was made from France.
Ooh, la la.
I'm just making that up.
Hey guys, it's Will Z. I'm calling on Monday after that butt whooping that the Packers gave the Raiders. Man, what a game! Haven't seen a performance like that in a good while. Kind of remind me of the Rodgers of old. So I've already been feeling great about this team, man. It just keeps getting better and better. That's all I wanted to say. Go Pack, go!
James, that's how I felt at the end of the game. Like this team is. It's not just the Rodgers of old. It's like the fun, like when the Packers were fun to watch. Not that I don't always enjoy games, but especially over the last couple of years, sometimes it's been a labor to enjoy these games.
Mm-hmm. I mean, let's be honest. I think it's okay. I think it's okay to acknowledge that. Especially last year, like it sucks. Only winning we went 4 games last year. Like it sucks. And some of those games towards the end of the year where nothing mattered anymore. It was like a chore, you know. But it's a chore you love. But it's not a chore because it's something you love to do. And why would you invest your time in it if it was so bad? But you know, going into things expecting them to be bad and just praying for them to be good.
Yeah,
that's no way to live, you know. And before this game, I was stupid. I mean, I'm always stupid, but I was especially stupid this game. And I tweeted something along the lines of, "This reminds me of the Tennessee game a couple years ago where the Packers were expected to win, you know, by double digits, and then they ended up down like 42-0 at halftime." And you know, thank God I'm an idiot and I'm wrong. And I was wrong because I think we did it, guys, or they did it. Goody did it. He made the Packers great again.
I'm trying to get Kevin back on the...
Okay.
I'm trying to get Kevin back on the screen. I don't know why it's not working, but now he's.
I'm looking at his face.
There we go. Here he comes. All right.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, there you are. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. This technology is still sucks, but we're working on it. Now you don't have like Megatron voice, so that's good. Everybody can hear you.
Oh.
All right. Last voicemail is again from Gabe.
Hey, Gabe here. Hey, 6-1, baby. Beat the Raiders. 42-24. Woohoo! Oh man, and here to witness it, here at Lambeau Field. Couldn't have been a better birthday present for me. Yeah, buddy. Anyway, guys, well, I'll run ahead and I'll talk to you later. I am signing off from beautiful Lambeau Field here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Good night. God bless. And go Pack, go!
I feel like Gabe is the kind of guy you go out drinking with, and then you wake up the next morning and you have a trident in your hand.
Gabe killed him with a trident.
I for one am glad that Gabe took out a second mortgage on his house so he could buy a bunch of beer at the Lambeau.
Well, that was I'd like to know, Gabe, do us a favor. Your next voicemail, let us know how many beers. And since it was your birthday present, someone else should have paid for them. But how many beers were consumed at Lambeau? Because that was an impressive amount. If you would like to call our voicemail, and who wouldn't, give us a ring at 920-445-TTSO. That's 920-445-TTSO. Put it in your phone. Dial us when you're drunk. Doesn't even have to be about football. If you're drunk enough, it doesn't even have to be about football. If you're amusing enough, it doesn't have to be about football. We appreciate your calls, guys. We appreciate everybody who supports the show. Thank you very much. And now we have a gentleman that... oops. Putting up stuff on the screen that doesn't belong there.
That's a pretty personal conversation.
No, I just put our Amazon ad back up on the screen. This new technology, I'm going to punch someone in the face.
Well, no, I mean...
Go ahead, sorry. We got Papa K, who's going to give us some of his wisdom now. And here he is, Papa K, talking about the Packers.
Hi. This is Bill Christofko calling after the Packers ran their record to 6-1 with a 42-24 victory over the Oakland Raiders. A couple of observations. Remember at the start of the football season, or the start of the recruiting season for the new Packers head coach and the hiring of Matt LaFleur, the question was, he's only been a coordinator for 1 year. Why this guy? And can he even lead a locker room? And how will Rodgers and LaFleur get along? Well, I think for the first 7 weeks, it certainly looks like we're headed in a positive direction in terms of answering these questions. This team seems to be hustling and playing hard for LaFleur, and Aaron Rodgers is starting to play at an MVP level. He certainly did this past Sunday, and this certainly looks like a varied offense, especially when you consider that Davante Adams has been out. There were several hustle plays that were really important that turned Sunday's game around. First was Chris Redmond making the tackle on Darren Waller down around the 2-yard line when it looked like he was going to score right before the half. And then if you look at the tape, you'll see Blake Martinez came all the way across the field to chase down Derek Carr and knock the ball loose as Carr tried to put the ball over the pylon for a touchdown. The result was a touchback instead of a touchdown, and then the Packers drove the length of the field to make it 21-10, a 14-point swing on those 2 hustle plays. That's the kind of play that the Packers have been giving us, which is so exciting and so positive for us as fans. It's exciting, too, how players have been stepping up, like Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Jay Kumaro, Alan Lazard, Jimmy Graham, who has been left for the NFL graveyard by many folks, Allison, and the running backs making plays in Adams' absence. Just an exciting offense that leads us to believe that once Davante Adams gets here, this offense will be even better and even more explosive. Now, at 6-1, why be concerned? Are there any concerns? Well, yes. There have been too many big plays that the Packers have given up, both on the ground and especially in the air this past Sunday against Oakland. Too much yardage given up. And I know they say they're a bend but don't break defense and that they're very tough in the red zone, and that's been true. But it's worrisome to see guys wide open against a rather average Oakland passing attack, which was minus its number 1 wide receiver, Tyrell Williams. It's especially a problem when, like on Sunday, there were no sacks by the Packers had no sacks against Oakland. So do we have confidence that this can be fixed? Well, certainly more so than under the previous regime. Certainly feel that with these players and with the change in coaches, now with Mike Pettin in his second year and with LaFleur and with the other assistant coaches, at least we have more hope that it can be fixed rather than under the previous regime when we shook our heads and got ready for more of the same for the following week. Now, this coming week, of course, a big game against the Kansas City Chiefs. There's some talk that maybe Mahomes is practicing and maybe he's going to play. It doesn't matter. We'll see what happens. It really depends on how the Packers play. I'm optimistic, and I'm especially hoping that we soon get Darnell Savage back. That will make a difference and maybe cutting down on some of these wide-open receivers in the secondary. Thanks for listening. That's all I have. Good night.
The one thing I was thinking about, James, this week is the Packers, their magic number is probably 5 right about now.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably right. I mean, they need to get, I think, 10 wins gets them in. 11 wins the division. That'd be my guess. Maybe 12. Minnesota's playing well, but the fact that we can even talk like that right now, it's amazing. You know?
Yeah. So I did something wrong with the program, so Papa K's picture is now stuck up here for the rest of the show. So I don't know if that is good or bad, but I screwed up, and there he is. He's stuck permanently. All right, we have what do we got left? We got our games. We got True False. We got Spread 'em. So let's get to True False with Papa K's creepy picture up there.
True or false, true or false, true or false, true or false. It's time to play true or false.
This is a sweet tune that true or false is accompanied with. All right, so let's just do a quick recap. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Everything?
Yeah.
All right, cool, yeah. Let's do a quick recap of where we are in the standings. Apparently, I forgot to send out last week's true or false again. So everybody gets 5 points except for us because we didn't.
Son of a!
We had... Sorry, guys. Come on. Are you guys? Yeah. Okay. You're really upset. I know. All right. You're not even eligible for the fake prize that we don't give away. So I do want to say though. So far, Kyle Turpinning, even without 5 points, he's killing it. He's got an 80% rate right now. He's doing a nice job. So keep up the good work, Kyle.
Nice work.
Yeah, it's beauty. All right, and then James Hamblin is at 70%. He's in second, and Scott Neer, he's at 60. Or Chris or James, you are slightly above 68%, but you and Scott Neer.
So he's slightly above. So is he like 69%?
If you want to round up, yes, he's definitely got a nice percentage. All right, so let's just read some questions for this week, and then we'll see where that takes us. How does that sound, guys?
Sure, let's do it.
Works for me.
Perfect. All right. So question number 1. This is going to go to James first because you are next to me on this thing. Okay. Let's see. We're in week 7, right? I just got to make sure I have the right one.
Week 8.
Week 8. Okay. But this is the one that we played the Raiders last week, right? I see.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just pretend like the numbers aren't here. In week 7 versus the Raiders, I changed it on the fly. Aaron Rodgers had 6 total touchdowns, including 5 passing and 1 rushing. True or false? In week 8, Aaron Rodgers will have at least 3 total touchdowns. James, what do you think?
True.
True. Chris, what do you think?
I'm going to say true as well.
I'm going to say true. All right, question number 2. Chris, I'm going to go with you first here.
All right, let's go.
In the win against the Raiders, the Packers passed for over 425 yards, with Aaron Rodgers spreading the ball to 8 different receivers. True or false? Against the Chiefs, the Packers wideouts will have more total targets and more total yards than the tight ends and running backs combined.
Ooh, that's good. I'm going to go true. That's going to be a close one. That's a good question. True.
James, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I'm also going to say true.
So this is just targets, not yards, right?
What's that?
That's just targets and not yards?
It's both of them.
Oh,
They'll have more total targets and more total yards.
All right.
I think they did last week.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to say false because I'm losing so far, so I might as well keep that trend continue. Mm-hmm. I didn't mention my percentage. It's just a little bit over 50. Yikes. All right, question number 3. As a team, the Packers ran for 63 yards last week against the Raiders. It does not include the Boyle knee downs at the end.
Well, then you just screwed up the entire Bakhtiari 69.
I don't include the... Well, but I mentioned it, so it's all good. True or false? Against the Chiefs, at least one running back will rush for at least 63 yards. Chris, what do you think?
At least one will rush for at least 63 yards.
That was the entire team's total last week.
Yeah, the Chiefs are really bad against, they don't defend the pass very well. I think the Packers are going to put the ball in the air, so I'll say false.
Okay. James, what do you think?
I think it's true. I think one of them gets, maybe it's Vitale gets 63 yards.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I'm going to go with true, only I think maybe a big play helps put somebody, a 24-yard scamper helps put somebody over the edge.
108-yard run by Danny Vitale.
I love a scamper.
A shrimp scamper. All right, question number 4. Against the Raiders, Mason Crosby did not attempt the field goal. True or false? In week 8 against the Chiefs, Mason Crosby will make field goals of at least 69 yards total. Chris, what do you think?
Total?
It can be 2 yards. Yeah.
It could be it could be one 69-yarder.
It could be one 69-yarder.
A 2-yarder and a 67-yarder.
Or two 69-yarders, correct.
I'm going to say false. And I'm not quite sure why.
James, what about you?
I want nothing more in my life than for Mason Crosby to make a 69-yard field goal. Like, I didn't even know I wanted that until right this very second. And now I want nothing more. Like, you could give me the option of that and, like, world peace, and I would pick the 69-yard field goal. But I'm going to say false.
All right, so James the Cuck takes false, and I'm going to say true on this one. Question number 5. Just a joke.
Yes,
it's just a joke.
Called you a cuck.
He's up. Talking about Mason Crosby 69. And question number 5. True or false?
Who hasn't thought of a Silverfox 69?
You guys have to take this question. The Silverfox? Yeah. True or false? You guys got to take this question seriously, though. Okay?
Oh, do we? What's the penalty if we don't? Sorry.
The J.K. Scott will be angry with you if you don't.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Yeah, this is a J.K. Scott question, so you guys better take it seriously. True or false? J.K. Scott will net a 52-yard punt this week.
True. The man just can't stop kicking the ball. I mean,
the man eats net 52-yard punts for breakfast.
He does. I mean, yeah. Like what you're asking is like, it's like, will I overeat tomorrow? That's what
it's really just if the Packers don't punt at all. That's really the only thing here.
Oh, good point.
That would be the only thing.
If they don't punt,
I mean, I think they'll punt.
I mean, I want them to not punt, but at the same time, I like to see the gorgeous stork on the field. So, I don't know. No, he's definitely going to have one. Yeah.
James.
Oh yeah, you know me. We've been through this every single week until he proves me wrong. True.
All right, cool. So those are the questions for true or false.
Oh, hold on. Do that again. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Try
Beauty.
Okay. Yeah, Beauty.
All right. So those are the 5 questions for this week's edition of True or False.
True or false is now over.
All right, we got one last game to play before we get out of here, and that is the game that's almost as inappropriately named as David Bakhtiari's 69. That's Spread 'em.
Game that's spreading the nation.
Go on ahead and spread them.
Thanks to David Bobke Baba, who is in our live chat, for recording that. The way he caused his voice to crack was just about perfect.
It's the 12-year-old sheriff routine. I like it. Excuse me, sir.
Could you just spread them? All right, Kevin. What are the Packers? What's the deal this week?
They play the Chiefs. What is the spread? I don't know. What is it?
4.5-point favorites.
The Packers are 4.5-point favorites. James, what do you think?
I'm going to continue on with this trend as well. Every week that I don't pick the Packers, they win. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
I'm going to take the Packers because I'm full homer mode. That's it. No other
I'm going to take the Chiefs because I'm going to ride on James's coattails and hope to get some glory here.
You poor man.
All right. This show was certainly better than last week's show, at least from a technical standpoint, although not perfect. We appreciate everybody who joined us in the live chat. If you're listening as a podcast, remember that if you like our Facebook page, you'll get alerts when we broadcast, usually every Tuesday night. This week we were pushed back till Wednesday night. But we'll be here mostly Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. If you are listening or watching us on the live stream, if you don't know, we are available as an audio podcast as well, everywhere that you find podcasts. Kevin, what do you got before we get out of here?
Nothing. I don't have anything at all.
Beauty. James, how about you?
So normally at this time I give you a word of the week to tweet at us. This week I'm changing it up a little bit. If you've made it... Well, look at that.
69
minutes into this podcast. I want you to tweet me, or tweet us. Do you guys have looked at me for the last hour and 9 minutes. Should I shave? Should I shave my beard off? Yes or no? That's all I'm looking for.
All right. Will you, whatever tweets we get, will you honor the decision of the fans?
maybe.
That's a good commitment. Yeah, thanks so much.
I'm gonna tweet out #yes monkey tail.
The monkey tail. All right, let's get out of here. We're already 70 minutes into this broadcast. Thanks everybody who listened to our new patron Shane and all of our patrons who support us every month. We really appreciate it. We got a bonus show coming up very soon. Let's get out of here. Go Pack Go. Let's join us back next week when we are 7-1 and one more win closer to winning the division and the playoffs. Have a good week, everybody. The preceding podcast was a production of Productions Institute, LLC. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved. Don't steal our crap.